Okay, perfect. Thank you, Melanie. Yes, all right, wonderful. Thank you for letting me know. I was just gonna be like, oh no, I have to restart after I turned off everything, except for Zoom. Life is interesting that way. So first off, I want to ask you guys how you're doing, like how you're really doing, and just write in the chat, or if you need to come online, you can just let me know, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. It's kind of crazy, as you may know. And so I've been recently wanting to check in on patients, on people that, that are in my world. And I just want to make sure you guys don't need anything. If you need a virtual hug, then we're sending them all your way. But how are you? And hopefully things are okay in your world. And if not, then virtual hugs, it is coming right up. All right. So today we're talking about co-creation. And it's very interesting because normally it feels like creeping uncomfortableness. It's the knowing too much and not knowing enough. Okay, perfect. Going with the flow. Okay, battery connected, the positive and negative. Awesome. So it's all about holding duality, being able to hold both and all of it. So it's holding all of it, because in one moment where something great is happening, Melanie, you're doing okay, focusing, work, family, friends, wonderful. The specialness is, how can you hold it all? How can your nervous system hold it all? And I want you just to not paying attention to media. Yes, absolutely. So I want everybody just to close your eyes. We're going to ground ourselves to where we are right now. And we're just going to take a collective deep breath in. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Just continue breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. It'll just be 1 second. Continue your breathing. You're going to breathe in the fresh energy, the collective energy of change, of connection. And then you're going to breathe out anything that no longer serves you. Anything that you've heard that you don't want to hear, that you didn't want to hear, anything that causes your tension, any areas of stress in your body, you're just going to breathe it out with every breath. And you're filling your in-breath, your body, with connection, with grace, with the divine, and breathing out anything that no longer serves you. Any emotions, any tension. When you're ready, when you feel a little bit lighter, come back to today, come back to now. So normally when I prepare for a masterclass, and if you'd like, you can take yourself off of, put yourself on camera, then I can see you. But if you don't want to, then that's okay as well. But I'm just an invitation to say hi. Normally, I write out some of the points that I want to speak about during my masterclass. That's how I prepare. And then we just have a chat. And I kept putting it off and putting it off. And I was like, why am I not wanting to write this? And then I realized this morning because I still had not written it, that not that I wasn't prepared, because I've been preparing for the masterclass. I just didn't have anything written down, that this is going to be a channeled masterclass. So masterclass with our energy, and we'll be speaking what comes up, what is coming up in this moment. Whatever it is that you need to hear right now, whatever it is that you need to change your perspective on, some words, and it's not going to be from me, it's going to be from, you know, your higher self, from God, spirit, universe, whatever, coming through me, but it's not from me. You will hear what you need to hear today. So I'm going to start with a story. Some of you know I was on vacation for a couple weeks. We went on a family cruise down to the Caribbean. It was beautiful in terms of the cruise, the boat. I get motion sickness, so I was very worried about the boat and the rocking, and there was none. So beautiful. The temperature nice and hot. In Ottawa, it was freezing cold. And so that made me a happy camper. However, partway there, so our family, we decided we're going to turn off all social media. We weren't going to be on our phones or anything like that. Well, you know, international fees are not something that we desire. And then we got a text from a friend of my husband's, and he said, you know, we forgot to tell him that we left. And he's like, I've been trying to reach your husband, and, you know, it's very unlike him not to text me back or tell me what's happening. Is he okay? And so I told my husband, I'm like, you better get on, you know, next time we hit a port, you better get on Wi-Fi and just let our friend Rob know that you're okay, because he wouldn't text me unless he was really worried. So we're like, okay, no problem. So we found a place at our next port to check our phones. And so my husband got online to tell his friend, and then I received a message. Really bad news. One of my husband's best friends had passed away suddenly. And he was very young, in his 40s, and that's it. And it was also a neighbor of ours, so really good friends. And they were looking after our driveway and everything. So we were really close, and it was devastating for our family and for our friends as well, of course, whoever was left behind. And during that, I could see the duality. Here we are in this nice Caribbean hot climate, and then my husband is talking to the now widow, our friend, and, you know, everybody's crying. Everybody's in a very emotional state. And yet there was both, right? There was such sadness and, you know, devastation to hear about the loss. And at the same time, where we were in the place that we were in, they actually didn't want to tell us when we until after our cruise, because the person left behind, his partner, said, you know, we knew this would be devastating for you. You weren't supposed to hear about this. I thought you guys were turning off your phones, which we did. And we just accidentally found out. But since then, it's when something like this happens, when tragedy happens, it allows you to look at your life and see, okay, what's really important compared in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, what are my priorities? What, you know, this little thing that you used to fight about, it's so small compared to all of it. And then, you know, the questions of why did this happen? I was talking to the daughter who is friends with my children, and, you know, she asks her mom, why did God choose to take daddy away? And you just can't answer that, right? It's hard to tell a child an answer for that. And yet you still need to move on and not necessarily forget, but there's going to be a new reality for you without that person in your life. But what can you do to honor that person? So my friend, one of the things she's doing is now she tells everybody that she talks on the phone with, every time she talks on the phone with them, that she loves them, because she said, you never know when will be the last time you talk to them or you talk to somebody. And so now she's like, I want every single person that I know that I love to know that I care for them and that I care about them every single time that I talk to them. And I thought, wow, what a way to honor the passing of your partner through everybody else knowing that much more that you care for them. And so we don't know what life will bring us, but when you look at the grand scheme of it, the little things start to disappear. The little frustrations, like this morning, I was catching up on taxes. If you hadn't known me for a while, I dislike entering the receipts into a spreadsheet and doing the calculations. Drive me bonkers. But then it's a small thing, right? And I can also see the beauty in that. And having receipts to enter means that I was able to have funds to purchase things with, right? And that's a good thing. And I'm grateful for that. And so we want to talk about co-creation, because you can create anything that you desire in your life. And we've heard that, but we don't really always believe that. And the process of co-creation isn't something outside of ourselves. Co-creation means working with somebody else, right? Co. And the somebody else in this case is whatever you deem to call a higher power. So whether you call this God, whether you call it Mother Nature, whether you call it Source, whether you call it the universe, what it is, the higher power of your own volition, like of your own meaning. It could be your higher self, something greater than who you are. It could even be your future self, who you're calling yourself to be, or who you will be in the future. So you can replace every time I say universe with whatever understanding of that you choose, whatever word. Do not get attached to the word, only that it represents that you're in a team. You're not by yourself. You're co-creating. It's the co-creation frequency, meaning you're creating with someone else. It could even be other people, right? It's a powerful, the process of co-creation, or the process of manifestation, is this dance between you and the universe. It's an energetic collaboration where you take the lead in designing the life that you desire, and the universe, it responds by aligning opportunities, setting synchronicities, sending you the people that you need at the time that you need it. Right? Have you ever had the experience of knowing that you needed that at the exact time that you needed it? Or you met a person for a reason, or this is happening for a reason, and it was set up so perfectly that it could not have been accidental. These are the resources and the favors or the gifts that are given to you when you co-create with the universe. So it's more than wishful thinking, right? It's not like, okay, I want $1 million to fall out of the sky, right? It's an intentional process, and it requires that you take action and that you are clear on what it is that you want. And we were given the power of thought. Not all life forms, plants, animals, were given the ability to create with their thoughts. And so if we were given this power, it was for a reason, and to be able to use this power. So all humans have the power to create from their thought. If you look at all the things that you have, like right now I'm looking at my computer, my phone, like my water bottle, whatever it is, those were all once a thought in somebody's mind, even the pen, before it was created. So we have the ability to imagine, right? To have thoughts, and then to also use our imagination to create things. We wouldn't have been given the ability to imagine if we weren't meant to use it, especially when you look at young children. They use their imagination all their time. My daughter has the greatest conversations with her stuffed animals and her unicorns and all these things. My son, he does battles with with his Star Wars figurines and with his superheroes, and they are literally having a battle where he's like jumping and leaping over things. And it's all from imagination. So we were given this power. We're given this power when we were younger. And some of us forget how to use it in order to help us. Some of us use it in order to bring about things that don't serve us. So the difference within using your imagination to create and something that serves you and something that doesn't is very simple. So when you're creating out of things that you're scared of, that you're fearful of, then you're not in this zone of creation. You're not creating in this space where you are manifesting what you truly desire. Right? If you think about it, because you can choose, you were given choice, free will, and you could choose between how you imagine. You can imagine the worst outcome possible, or you can imagine the best outcome possible. In fact, the brain is such that no matter what directive you give it, so let's say I asked you yesterday, name me 3 bad things about your day, you'd tell me 3 bad things. But if I asked you, name me 3 wonderful things about yesterday, you could also do that. And simply because of the output that I changed, good or bad, or positive or negative things, your brain is going to come up with an answer to that. It's going to spit it out for you. And so in using your imagination, you can use it for fear, which is what a lot of people do. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And all the things versus the same skill of imagination to create the life that you would desire. And what do you think we were meant to do? When we were given this power to imagine and to create through our thoughts, do you think the universe was like, okay, I hope that they create the most scariest things that could scare the bejesus out of them? Probably not. They were probably like, I'm going to give them the gift to be able to create their highest and best version of themselves. They're going to have gifts that they can cultivate. They're going to have the abilities to continuously learn and grow. They're going to be able to inspire others. They're going to be able to change the world. They're going to be in service of others. Which do you think the universe wanted when they gave you that choice? Well, you always have the choice, but what do you think it was designed to do? Most likely give you a life that you desire, because you wouldn't have a desire if you didn't, at some level of your body, of your cells, of the molecules within you, that you didn't want it. But you have a desire because you want something. There's something inside of you that's drawn to it. And so it's your choice how you want to use your imagination. And when you imagine fearful things to happen, what do you think, what emotions, what feelings do you bring about? Probably, well, fear, but sadness, anger, frustration. And most of the times, a lot of the things that you fear, especially if it's in the future, it hasn't happened yet. Have you ever had the experience where you feared things, and then when it actually came to happen, you're like, well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, right? So many times. I remember when I was younger and I hated doing public speaking, like with a passion, hated doing public speaking. I would be so scared for months and months. Whenever I knew a presentation was coming up, I would dread the day. I'd make myself sick, all the things. I'd be shaking, wouldn't be able to get the words out. And that was all. When I did it, when I actually had to do the presentation after, I'd be like, usually most of the time was not as bad as I created it in my mind to be. So what we don't give ourselves credit for is how strong we are in the moment. When it's actually happening to us, we're fairly resourceful. Most of the time, you will have the resources. You will be able to respond in the moment. It's just when we think ahead of time and we create all this fear of the things that haven't happened to us. There's always quotes that are like, 90% of the things that we imagine would happen to us don't actually, in terms of like all the bad things that we think will happen. Like, oh, if this happens, I'm gonna, if I start my new business, no one will understand me, nobody will like me, I'll lose all my friends, and then I won't have money to feed my children, and yada, 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 yada. And then all of a sudden you're like, I can't start. When on the other side, it has the potential for so much more. So when you're using your imagination, what's possible for you to create, right? What is possible if you look at a young child for them to do with their imagination? Anything, everything. You can do everything with your imagination. You can create. If I told you to sit in front of me and picture yourself having tea with an elephant, you could do it. You are probably doing it right now. But we don't use that anymore. And so we have with our imagination an infinite possibility to create, right? And as for those of you who are women, you can literally create life in your body. You have the ability to create life. And so when we think about the universe, God, spirit, source, what do we think that they have? The ability to create anything, to have possibility, right? All things that are possible. Isn't that what you have too? Right? Created in the image and likeness of God, spirit, source, universe. You have that ability. You were given the ability to imagine endless possibilities. You are a creator. You're a co-creator and you are co-creating with God. The difference being there are people who step in and claim their role as the creator and those who don't. Right? When you claim something as being a part of you, you start to see evidence you claim it as part of your identity. And when it becomes a part of your identity, it sends out a certain frequency. And so you lead that identity with, I am a creator. That is the energy that you're sending out there. And the universe goes, okay, I'm going to send him or her or them things that they can create, building blocks. I'm going to send them everything. I'm going to give them all the Lego that they desire. We have too much Lego in our house, but we're going to give them all the pieces that they need in order to design and build the life that they want, in order to become the best version of themselves, in order for them to be who they were truly meant to be. All the blocks are coming your way. You need to be in alignment energetically with that what you desire. Right? That's the key of it, is am I a match for what I desire? Am I a match for what it is that I want? Right? So let's say you are looking for a relationship, a person of your dreams, and you write down, these are the things that I want this person to have, you know? I want them to be funny. I want them to, you know, be 6 foot, or I want them to be compassionate, whatever it is that you want. Are you an energetic match for that? So if you want somebody who's funny, are you someone that laughs a lot? Because you need to be an energetic match for that. If you want your life to be lived a certain way, are you a match for that? Like, let's say you have the desire to be, you see yourself sitting on the beach, you know, sipping on your Mai Tais or whatever it is that you want. But energetically, you don't even like the sand. So you don't like, let's say 30-degree weather, it's too hot for you. That's not an energetic match, even though you're like, well, that might be nice. Right? Who can you become? Who are you going to become in the process of getting what you desire? We don't often ask that. Right? If you want, who do I need to be? Who do I need to become in order to have what I desire? That means then you get to start working on you, on yourself. You know, if I want somebody who's funny, then I need to laugh a lot. Okay, what can I do to make myself laugh a lot? Maybe I can watch a lot of funny shows. Maybe I can read some funny books. Maybe I can go see a comedian. Maybe I can just practice smiling. And then you become a person who laughs. And when that is a part of your identity, what are you going to attract? People who make you laugh, right? You say you want to attract somebody who has, and this is just the example that we're going with if you're looking to attract somebody. You can attract anything that you want, the business of your dreams, the clients of your dreams, whatever. Are you deserving of that? And not from deserving from a place of, I'm not enough. It's not a value thing. It is, am I an energetic match for that? Right now, as some of you know, I've been doing some martial arts. I went to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. And the first day you go in, you're a white belt. You know nothing. You really, well, unless you've taken judo or something like that, martial arts before. And so going in, do you deserve a black belt? No, because a black belt has taken 10, 15 years of their life to hone a skill, and so they deserve that. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of a black belt. It doesn't mean that you can't become one who has a black belt. That's possible for you if that's what you desire. It has nothing to do with your worth. It just means you are not yet ready. You have not acquired the skills to get to that level. When people start a business, most of the time, 95, I think, percent of businesses go out of business within the first 5 years, something like that. And it's probably worse now. Because people think, okay, when I start a business, I expect to, my business go like this right away. And sometimes they do. But usually when you look at the times that they do, people, it's not their first business that they've built. They've already acquired the skills, right? Do you have the skills required? Maybe that be marketing, maybe that's selling, maybe that is, perfecting your art or whatever it is area that you're in. That have you taken the actions that resonate with the opportunities that you're going to be sent your way? So you lead in taking the action and knowing what it is that you need to learn, what skills you need to learn to become an energetic match. And the universe sends you the resources, the people, creates the timing for you to receive. And when you do, it's that dance between you and the universe. The dance of I lead, universe follows. I lead, universe follows. And when you imagine, another piece that just came in is when you imagine, we have the ability to attach a feeling to imagination, right? If you, as I said earlier, I don't like motion sickness. If I imagine myself on a cruise and the boat rocking and rolling, I can imagine myself feeling pretty queasy, not very happy person, and probably about to throw up. I can create those feelings. Even just thinking about the rocking of a boat makes me a little nauseous right now. I can create that right now. You can also create joy, excitement, peace, gratitude. You can also use your imagination to create that in the moment. Right? So in any moment, we can create the emotions that we desire to have in the right now. You can have that now before even what you desire arrives. And then, have you had the experience of somebody giving you a surprise? You don't expect it. And so you're like, yay, that's so awesome. Thank you. I wasn't even expecting it. And then there are things that you really work hard for. Let's say, your high school diploma or something like that. You went to school for so long, you knew if you finished these courses in this order that you would receive it. It's an achievement for you. And then you achieve it. And then one day you manifest it. It comes true. You receive your high school diploma. The satisfaction of it, the meaning of it means more to you because of the time that you had expecting it, right? When you achieve what you desire, it's going to feel more for you because you spent the time with it. You've known that this was coming for so long. You'd have faith in it. And then when it actually comes, you're like, wow, it works. It worked out. Imagination is one of the greatest gifts that we've been given as humans because it allows you to dream, to create, to innovate, and bring new possibilities into existence. So how are you using your imagination? Are you using it to bring about emotions of fear or emotions of gratitude for yourself? Right? And just notice, this isn't to say one is good or bad. It just, is this continuing to serve where I want to go? Right? Because we wouldn't have been given that opportunity or the skill or the ability to imagine and create if we weren't meant to use it. And when you're imagining the worst case scenarios, what do you think that does to your body? Right? If you're imagining, images of failure, of pain, of suffering, of loss, even looking at feeling your shoulders, like they start to droop forward, right? Your muscles might start to tense. You might get frustrated. Might get mad. Your stress hormones, the cortisol goes up, the heart rate increases, and you create even more suffering from your head and your mind and your feelings. And it hasn't even happened yet most of the time. Whatever it is that you're fearing, it's not in this moment right now. Hasn't happened yet, right? So the idea is to notice when you're using your imagination for fear, and then just shift it, right? How can you to reclaim it as a tool for success, for joy, for fulfillment? And how do you do that? What are some ways to do that? Well, the first thing is to be aware of your narrative. So the thoughts that are the words that you're speaking inside of your head. And to just realize, oh, I'm using my imagination right now. Hey, great. And once you become aware of that, you can ask yourself, is this happening right now? Is this something I need to fear in this moment? Like, is there a tiger here and I got to run away? Is this happening right now? Is this real? Majority of the time, it is not. Okay, there's no tiger chasing you, any of you guys right now. Okay, so become aware, and then just ask yourself, is this real or not? And then when you can start to do that, it opens another door, right? It opens another gateway of possibility. Okay? If this isn't real, is it true? Like, is it really true that I'm not good enough to be here? Is it really true that I'm not worthy? No, not really. Interesting. Right, you can start to question some of the negative talk that you might have. Is this true? Like, is it something you would say to somebody else? We tend to be harder on ourselves than we are on other people. So there are things that we would never say to another person, but you look at yourself in the mirror and you're saying it to yourself. So can we be a little more gentle with ourselves, a little more compassionate with ourselves, and only say things that we would say to our young child? Why would we say it to ourselves when we wouldn't say it to other people? And then you switch your imagination. You say, okay, my imagination, I'm currently using it for fear. How can I use it in faith instead? Instead of imagining the worst thing that could happen, what's the best possible outcome? What's the best thing that could happen? If I really put my heart, my soul into whatever it is that you're doing, my faith, what is the best possible outcome? And then set out to make that a reality. And also just know there's going to be surprises along the way. Right? So faith, imagination, the difference is that you're just using that same skill that you learned as a child, how to imagine. You're just using it for fear right now instead of faith. And the switch just needs to go from, it's the same skill. You already have it within you. And with that imagination, we add the feelings to it. And then we add the thoughts, and then we have the feelings, and then the universe responds because we are of a certain frequency. And then we take a step, and then we say thank you. And then we take a step and we say thank you. And we work our way up the ladder that we desire. And then you receive what it is that you asked for. And it was never about receiving what you asked for. It was always about the journey and who you are along the way, who you were becoming. It's the evolution of you. Because just having the goal already makes you a better person. And if you look at the example of, wanting to meet, going back to my example of wanting to meet the person of your dreams, if you were like, okay, I'm going to work on being more funny. I'm going to be working on being more compassionate. I'm going to work on being more loving. Just having the goal of meeting somebody that has certain traits, and then you asking yourself, how can I be a match for that? That's changed you. That's made you better. A different version of yourself. And so having the goal already changes you. Having the desire already changes you, whether it's a desire for a shift in your health, a shift in your relationship, a shift in your finances, in your vocation or what you do, or starting a new business, working out, anything. just having that goal already changes you and pulls you forward into the next version of yourself. And as you change, you give out the different signals to the universe, and then the universe responds to those new signals. And all of a sudden, you're attracting things that you never thought that possible before. And then they call it manifestation. And then you're like, it's not magic. Do you know how hard I worked for this? And how hard, and yet it was with another source. You weren't alone, right? You did it with the help of the universe. All right. So anyone have any questions? Like I said, I don't really have notes, so that I'm pausing right now to see if there's anything about co-creation that you want to talk about. And even something else popped up. So even in co-creation, it's a skill, right? You might not be able to believe that you can have the result that you desire right now. So what you might want to do is to start practicing with something small, right? Practice something, imagining something that's going to happen to you. Like this morning, I imagined while I was lying in bed that I would get out of bed and I would have this nice warm cup of water. And then I would start my workout while listening to, a personal growth or studying for this masterclass is what I was doing. And I could imagine myself doing that. I felt the warmth of the water. This is me lying in bed. I was like, oh, such a nice cup of water, warm water. My body's going to start moving. I'm going to be inspired to finally write my masterclass, which didn't get written, but was said. And yeah, and now it came to today and right now. And the masterclass is going on. And the words that are coming out are from stories from what's been happening in my life, from my mentors, from their words, from spirit, from source. And we're creating together, and you guys. And we are creating this masterclass together. Anyone have any more questions? I'll tell you about our next masterclass. The next masterclass is in 1 month. It's on Tuesday, April the 1st. It is at 1 p.m. and it's not an April Fool's Day joke. It just happens to be the first Tuesday of the month, which tends to be when my masterclasses are. And it is called, I got this download yesterday, but it's called The Bridge. And it is talking about building, first of all, we talk about a gap. So there's going to be a gap between what you desire and where you want to go. And there's going to be, we'll talk about what the gap is, first of all. Excuse me. The second thing we're going to talk about is how to build a bridge. That's why the masterclass is called The Bridge. It's free. And then the third thing we're going to talk about is the walk of transformation. So you're going to have to come to that masterclass in order to find out what all those things mean. But that is going to be on Tuesday, April the 1st. And when I send out the recording for this, the link to register will be on that. And if you're not part of if you don't get my weekly emails, then sign up for my weekly emails, because that's where I'll be posting what the next workshop and masterclass is. Let's see. Yeah. Our full month so I have a membership called the Daily Dose of Healing, and every single day I drop a training. Every single day I come up with something, a theme. So every month we have a different theme. So last month was self-leadership. The first month, January, was best year ever. December was miracles. This month, it is a whole month of co-creation. So this is a tip of the iceberg that I was talking to you about today. I talk about some of it inside the Daily Dose of Healing, but we get to go a deeper dive, because you get however many days, 30 days in March, 31. So 31 trainings on co-creation. So if you would like to join us inside the Daily Dose of Healing, then I will also send you that link, and then you can come aboard. And every single month we change our theme, and we work on a different aspect of who we are and how to constantly evolve and grow and learn. So I thank you all so much for being here. And if you have any sorry, Charles says, thanks for pointing to manifestation. The more I notice it in my life, the more gratitudes towards the universe, the more manifestations. Yes, that's it. It is the more gratitude, and you go, thank you, thank you, thank you, that you receive more. Because your thoughts, your feelings, they're focused on abundance. And so you receive more of it. So yes, more, more, more. And yes, so if you'd like to join the Daily Dose of Healing, then that link will also be there. All right, so if there are no questions, then I will see you next month inside the masterclass. Or if you are already in the Daily Dose of Healing, then I will see you all month long. You're welcome, Melanie. Have a wonderful day.